Brody Muchler presents a review of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. This book is fiction, and it's about three 13-year-old third years at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry named Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ron Weasley. This is the third novel in the Harry Potter series, and it tells of an escaped criminal, Sirius Black, I don't know why I did the quotes, thought by normal humans, muggles, as one of them, but really being a wizard, and one of the most dangerous wizards at that. He was a follower of Lord Voldemort, or as referred to in the novel as You-Know-Who, which is the wizard who murdered Harry's parents and left Harry with his famous thunderbolt-shaped scar. Or lightning bolt. Is it lightning bolt? Whatever. In the beginning of the novel, and in every other novel in the series, it mentions Harry's guardians, the Dursleys, and the book starts with Harry under his bed sheets at 1 in the morning doing his homework, and it's his birthday. He's doing his homework under the covers because he's not allowed to do any magic in the summer, because that would make people draw attention to the Dursleys' house, and it just wouldn't turn out very good. It then carries on to when Harry's Aunt Marge shows up for a week, and at the end, Harry uses magic to inflate her like a balloon because she's being rude about Harry's parents and how they died, saying that, quote, they got drunk and died in a car accident, unquote. He then runs away down Pivot Drive, the street where the Dursleys live, after packing all his stuff, and winds up seeing what he thinks to be a stray dog, but not being sure, and using a spell to make his wand have a beam of light shooting out of the front of it. And by doing so, he accidentally summons a night bus, which is a magical bus that takes the passenger to their destination instantly. Harry then goes to London on it and meets up with the Minister of Magic right beside Diagon Alley about Sirius Black being out to kill him, although Harry thinks it's about his unsupervised illegal use of magic that took place that night at Pivot Drive. He then gathers his supplies for the new school year in Diagon Alley, and then soon meets up with Ron and Hermione. Later, on the train to Hogwarts, they're in a cabin with a man named Professor Lupin, which is the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And then soon a Dementor, which is a large guard of Azkaban, gets on the train to look and check for Sirius, and Harry suddenly gets cold and faints because the coldness is because Dementors just have really cold, like, I don't know how to explain this, and I'm not sure why he faints, which Draco Malfoy makes fun of him throughout the entire book for. He then arrives to Hogwarts, and their adventure and school year should really begin. Okay, I chose to read pages 26 to the end of page 26 to page 28 for everyone, because it is the part where Harry inflates his Aunt Marge using magic. I chose this part because it's the funniest part in the book of what I've read, in my opinion. "This Potter," said Aunt Marge loudly, seizing the brandy, which is wine, bottle, and splashing more into her glass and over the tablecloth, "never told me what he did." Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia, the auntie and uncle, his guardians, were looking extremely tense, and Dudley, his cousin, had even looked up from his pie to gape at his parents. "He didn't work," said Uncle Vernon with a half glance at Harry. "Unemployed." "As I expected," said Aunt Marge, taking a huge swig of brandy and wiping her chin on her sleeve. "A no-account, good-for-nothing, lazy scrounger who—" "He was not," said Harry suddenly. The table went very quiet, and Harry was shaking all over. He never felt so angry in his life. "More brandy!" yelled Uncle Vernon, who had gone very white. He emptied the bottle into Aunt Marge's glass. "You boy," he snarled at Harry. "Go to bed. Go on." "No, Vernon," hiccoughed Aunt Marge, holding up a hand, her tiny bloodshot eyes fixed on Harry's. "Go on, boy. Go on. Proud of your parents, are you? They going to get themselves killed in a car crash? Drunk, I expect." "They didn't die in a car crash," said Harry, who found himself on his feet. "They died in a car crash, you nasty little liar, and left you to be a burden on their decent, hard-working relatives," screamed Aunt Marge, swelling with fury. "You're an insolent, ungrateful little—" But Aunt Marge suddenly stopped speaking. For a moment, it looked as though words had failed her. She seemed to be swelling with inexpressible anger. But the swelling didn't stop. Her great red face started to expand, her tiny little eyes bulged, and her mouth stretched too tightly for her to speak. Next second, several buttons burst from her tweed jacket and pinged off the walls. She was inflating like a monstrous balloon, her stomach bursting free of her tweed waistband, each of her fingers blowing up like a salami. "Marge!" yelled Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia together, as Aunt Marge's whole body began to rise off the chair towards the ceiling. She was entirely round now, like a vast life buoy, with piggy eyes, and her hands and feet stuck out weirdly as she drifted up in the air, making apoplectic popping noises. Ripper, which is Marge's dog, came skidding into the room, barking madly. "No!" Uncle Vernon seized one of Marge's feet and tried to pull her down again, but was almost lifted from the floor himself. Next second, Ripper had leaped forward and sunk his teeth into Uncle Vernon's leg. Harry tore from the dining room before anyone could stop him, heading for the cupboard under the stairs. The cupboard door burst magically open as he reached it. In seconds, he had heaved his trunk to the front door, sprinted upstairs, threw himself under the bed, wrenched up the loose floorboard, and grabbed the pillowcase full of books and birthday presents. He wriggled out, seized Hedwig's empty cage, and dashed back downstairs to his trunk, just as Uncle Vernon burst out of the dining room, his trouser leg in bloody tatters. "Come back in here," he bellowed. "Come back and put her right." But a reckless rage had come over Harry. He kicked his trunk open, pulled out his wand, and pointed at Uncle Vernon's. "She deserved it," Harry said, breathing very fast. "She deserved what she got. You keep away from me." He fumbled behind him for the catch on the door. "I'm going," Harry said. "I've had enough." The next moment, he was out in the dark, quiet street, heaving his heavy truck behind him, Hedwig's cage under his arm. My rating is I recommend this book for anyone who enjoys the Harry Potter series, good laughs, and lots of spaghetti, suspense and cliffhangers in every chapter. I rate this book 8.5 out of 10.